Got it, you're asking for the full story, expanded into a long, emotionally rich piece around 1,500 words. Here it is, written in a cinematic, heartfelt style. Don't cry, ma'am, a poor mechanic's kindness revived her Ferrari and her faith. The California sun hung low over the Pacific Coast Highway, casting long ribbons of gold across the asphalt. Traffic moved in impatient pulses, luxury sedans, electric SUVs, motorcycles slicing between lanes. Among them, a cherry-red Ferrari 488 glided like a jewel, its polished body reflecting the confidence of the woman behind the wheel. Victoria Hale had mastered control. As CEO of a global investment firm, she negotiated billion-dollar deals before breakfast and crushed competition before lunch. Her tailored navy suit fit her life perfectly, sharp, expensive, and impenetrable. Weakness had no place in her world. Until the Ferrari sputtered. At first, it was subtle, a hiccup in the engine. Victoria frowned, fingers tightening on the wheel. Then the dashboard lit up like a warning flare. The engine coughed once, twice, and died. Silence. Cars roared past as she coasted onto the shoulder, her heart pounding harder than the traffic. She tried restarting the engine. Nothing. Again. Still nothing. Unbelievable, she muttered, blinking back a sudden wave of frustration. Her phone buzzed with emails, reminders, meetings she could not miss. But out here, none of that mattered. The wind off the ocean carried the scent of salt and freedom, mocking her. She stepped out of the Ferrari, heels clicking against the pavement. A few drivers slowed to stare, then sped off. Help was not coming. For the first time in years, Victoria felt small. She leaned against the car, pressing her palm to the hood as if it might respond to touch. Her chest tightened. She wasn't crying over a car, she knew that. She was crying over exhaustion, loneliness, and a life that had become nothing but motion without meaning. That's when she heard a voice. "Ma'am, don't cry." She turned sharply. A boy, no older than 16, stood a few feet away. His clothes were worn but clean, his hands darkened with grease. A battered toolbox sat at his feet. He had kind eyes, the kind that hadn't yet learned how cruel the world could be. "I didn't mean to pry," he said quickly. I work at that shop down the road." "Saw you pulled over." Victoria wiped her face, embarrassed. "It's fine, you can't help. This isn't exactly a pickup truck." The boy smiled, unfazed. "A machine's a machine. May I take a look?" She hesitated. The Ferrari was worth more than most houses. Letting a stranger touch it felt reckless. But something in his voice, steady, respectful, disarmed her. "All right," she said softly. He knelt by the car, opening the rear engine compartment with careful reverence. His movements were gentle, almost affectionate, as if the Ferrari were a living thing. He listened, touched, checked connections, murmuring to himself. Victoria watched, curiosity replacing despair. "You work on Ferraris?" she asked. "No, ma'am," he said with a grin. "Mostly old Hondas. But engines talk. You just gotta listen." After several minutes, he straightened. "Fuel sensors loose. Happens sometimes with vibration. Nothing serious." He reached into his toolbox, tightened a connector, wiped his hands on a rag, and nodded. "Try now." Victoria slid into the driver's seat, pulse racing. She turned the key. The Ferrari roared back to life. Her breath caught. She stepped out slowly, staring at the car as if it were a miracle. That's it?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am," she laughed, an unguarded, genuine sound that surprised them both. "You just saved me thousands of dollars," she said. "What do I owe you?" The boy shook his head. "Nothing." Victoria frowned. "That's not how the world works." He met her gaze. "Maybe that's the problem." She pulled out her wallet, offering several $100 bills. He gently pushed her hand back. "Please," he said, "I just didn't want you crying alone on the roadside." Something cracked inside her. "Why?" she asked quietly. "Why help a stranger?" He shrugged. "My mom says kindness is never wasted. Even if people forget, God doesn't." The words landed heavier than he knew. Victoria hadn't heard anyone mention God in years, certainly not without irony. Faith had slipped out of her life somewhere between ambition and loss. "What's your name?" she asked. "Eli." She nodded. "Eli, thank you." As she drove away, the Ferrari purred flawlessly. But Victoria felt changed in a way no machine repair could explain. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept seeing Eli's hands, steady, confident, unafraid. She thought about his refusal of money, his quiet certainty. When was the last time she'd done something purely out of kindness? The next day, she drove back to the mechanic shop. It was small, peeling paint, flickering sign. Eli was there, sweeping the floor. He looked up, surprised. "Ma'am," she smiled. "Victoria, I wanted to see where my miracle worker came from." She met the owner, learned Eli worked there after school to help his widowed mother pay rent. He dreamed of becoming an engineer but doubted he'd ever afford college. Victoria listened. For once, she didn't interrupt. A week later, Eli received a letter, full scholarship. Tuition, housing, books. Anonymous donor. He knew. Months later, Victoria funded the shop's expansion, created apprenticeships, and quietly restructured her company's charitable arm. But the biggest change wasn't external. She started slowing down, listening, giving. One Sunday morning, she found herself sitting in the back of a small church, unsure how she'd gotten there. The sermon was about kindness, how the smallest acts could resurrect hope. Victoria smiled through tears. She understood now. The Ferrari had broken down for a reason. Not to test her patience, but to restore her faith. If you'd like, I can make this even longer with deeper backstories. Rewrite it in a viral YouTube narration style. Turn it into a short film script. Add a stronger spiritual or emotional ending. Just tell me Dizzy 1500 WAD.